If I come up to you and I'm like, you never have to feel anything you don't want to. You can go through life without feeling any pain. You can go through life just on pleasure and happiness and spontaneity alone. That sounds great until you realize that like things that don't feel good for a reason. Things that feel unpleasant tells you stay away, get out, switch it up, like do something different because it's not working, because you don't like it, because you're stuck.
Step right up, one and all.
3 things you need to know before we start this video. Your brain is not your friend. It is a needs-meeting machine. It seeks pleasure and avoids pain. But the thing about your brain is it doesn't necessarily care how it's getting the needs met. It wants the quickest, fastest, easiest, dirtiest, cheapest way to get your needs met. Which is why we say, your brain is not your friend. Your subconscious needs govern your life. Your subconscious is the part of your mind that you are unaware of. It is responsible for roughly 95 to 97% of our beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and actions. Your subconscious mind processes roughly 2 billion bits of information per second, as opposed to the conscious mind's 40 to 100 bits of information per second. So we clearly know who Big Baller Shot Caller is. Our subconscious mind runs on imprints, which are essentially a series of patterns that our brain has picked up when we were younger and for whatever reason decided this has worked to keep you alive so far, so we're just gonna keep on running it. There's 3 primary ways that the subconscious mind adopts these imprints. The first is through modeling, or what we see. The second is through what we hear. The third is through our experiences, specifically our emotional experiences. Your subconscious mind tends to reinforce negative imprints over positive ones, and it does this purely for survival. My only desire as a brain is to keep firing and rewiring, and to do that, I guess I kind of have to keep you alive. Unmet needs cause emotional pain. The negative feelings are feedback. It's a signal to get those needs met. Now let's talk attachment theory. So attachment theory is basically the theory that the early bonds that you form with your caregivers in early childhood, they go on to be replicated and repeated in your early adulthood. So pretty much whatever you see and you learn from whoever is taking care of you, that is the foundation of how you're going to act in relationships. They're going to keep repeating in your life until you figure out, hey, this thing that I was doing when I was 8, that my brain for whatever reason decided, oh my god, it's keeping you alive, so we're gonna keep doing it. I don't care if you're happy. I don't care if it's like not working out for you. I don't care if you're emotionally not satisfied. Guess what? You're alive and you're welcome. That thing that my brain decided, it's not working for me anymore, and we should probably fix this. It all started when I watched this video by Heidi Praeb, which is talking about dismissive, avoidant attachment style. Whenever there's anything that can cause me any pain, like emotional pain of any kind, I dismiss and I avoid. It's honestly almost a form of dissociation, like low-level dissociation. I feel happy, I feel joy, I feel all like the things. I feel excited, I feel nervous, I feel curious, all the things that I'm like, don't know if that's my bag, like don't know if we want to deal with her, like all those things I don't feel. What do you mean you can't feel pain? My brain doesn't know that it's in pain. It just down-regulates the pain because it decided it wasn't important. It's not like you just never feel the pain. It's like you're numbing yourself out to feeling the pain. So like there's still a subconscious level of you feeling what this person is saying as hurt. You're just not consciously aware of it. It's like a protective method. If you are saying all these hurtful things to me and I'm not feeling them, guess what? You can't hurt me. I don't experience anger. I experience frustration or like irritation. I've never really felt like a deep state of like sadness or like depression. Like for me, being like depressed is feeling stuck. There's no growth, there's no movement, everything is stagnant. See, this is why it was so confusing to me, because I was like, that sounds great. Like if someone comes up to me and it's like, I've never felt sadness, like I don't really like experience anger, I don't really feel like pain, I would be like, how'd you do that? Your biggest blind spot that's keeping you stuck is that you never actually feel or process pain, so you never learn any lessons. Like you never learn what to avoid because you're just not feeling anything. And I was like, oh my god. When I tell you that video felt like the biggest read of my life, I was like, you never learn the gift of discernment. So you never know what to do and what not to do because you're just like, oh my god, I can never feel any pain. I'm superhuman. I can survive anything. That's basically like the gist of the video. To me, it literally was my superpower for the longest time. Like I'm like, are you kidding? I don't have to feel anything that sucks. Sign me up. The funny thing about like avoiding emotional pain is you're like disconnected with a part of yourself, which in my head it's like, well, obviously it's the pain. Like who wants to be attached to the pain? Of course I want to disconnect from that.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Pain tells you important information that if you're disconnected from, you don't have access to. If I touch a hot stove when I'm a child and it hurts, guess what I'm not gonna do again. So I watched this video by Heidi Priebe, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, this is totally me. How did I get this way? Because we love a little, like, you know, a little regression, a little like, take it back, a little hindsight to tell us like, this is exactly where you messed up. To get you to the process of where we're at now, we have to start from the beginning. So let's start from the beginning. My family is a family of African immigrants. At 6, we moved to America. From 0 to 8 is kind of that process. That's what we talked about earlier. You're a sponge and you soak up everything. When you go from a third world country to a first world country, it's great because then you get like all these set of like opportunities, and that's why my parents did it, because that's what they wanted for me and my brother. But then it's also like you're leveling up, so everything that you built, like your whole entire life that you built in this other country, is like gone. So they had to start like from the bottom. Children are highly sensitive and highly intuitive. There's this principle in psychology called enmeshment. It's the idea that you become so highly attuned to your caregiver's needs. Like you can pick up on like their emotional state, when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're mad, when they're upset, when they're stressed, because you're sensitive. So you can pick up on that emotional state and you start to integrate it into your emotional state. Let's say your parent comes home one day and they're super stressed and you're like, oof, I can feel like mom's on edge, like let me just be really, really good. Or like they come home and they're really happy, you're like, oh my god, this is a really great day to ask them if I can go hang out with my friends. I could pick up on the fact that like, oh, we're in a state of survival. My parents were good at like always just like providing for our basic needs, but it's like the feeling of like, oh, maybe I don't ask for this toy for Christmas because I don't want to put any like extra stress on them, because I know that they're already like, you know, like they're doing it, like they're doing the thing. The other aspect of that was I was also very self-sufficient as a child. I always felt like I can do everything like by myself, and not in like a I would never ask for help. I don't necessarily need or want anything from anyone else because like I have everything inside. I come to this place where I see my parents struggling, and then I internalize, I don't want to burden them. I don't want to add to this struggling. So, because I know I'm self-sufficient, I'm just going to process everything and deal with everything myself. I learned that it wasn't that important to focus on or express negative emotions. In fact, I think it was positively working for me. A lot of people in the world need things from other people. Like, I need you to validate me. I need you to show that you love me, because I don't have that internally. I've been everywhere in life. Like, I've been like shunned, and I've been like in the middle, and I've been like, you know, at the height, but it's always like when I'm here and I'm here and I'm here and I'm here, it's like I'm still here. Like the core of who I am is still good, like throughout it all, which is why I felt so invincible. It was working so well for me until I was like, ooh, I am feeling stuck, and I don't really have anyone to blame but myself, because I'm by myself. I was in early adulthood, right? And I was 3 years into being independent, and I'm like, I don't love my life. I don't love like what I'm doing. Don't necessarily, I like where I'm at, but this isn't my forever place. And I like the relationship that I'm in, but I don't know that this is my forever person. And the funny thing about the adult world too is like the first years of you being like an independent adult mimic the first years of like early childhood. Basically, I'm like 3 years old. So then I see myself like getting in these patterns that are very redundant of like how my childhood was. My parents are like, you know, they're African, so they're traditional, and traditional usually means a little judgmental. Traditional African values is like, you kind of treat the boy and the girl child differently. The boy child kind of gets to have a lot more fun, especially because I was the youngest and I was the youngest girl. So I literally felt like my childhood was like bubble wrapped. School activities, church, home. It was redundant, it was stagnant. I didn't really feel like I could express myself, and I didn't feel like I had freedom. It got to the point to where I was like, when I was like 17, I was like, all right guys, like I get the principle, but like at this point it's feeling a little like captivity, so I'm just gonna fly. There's a light and shadow side to everything. Even the things that you're like, oh my god, that's so great, like that's so good for you. But the shadow side of my parents being overprotective is that I don't know that I ever learned how to make decisions for myself. I became kind of like safe with allowing other people to have control over me, and never in a conscious way, because like the conscious me rejected authority. It's like, you're trying to tell me what to do, I'm out, like I'm done. Maybe I'm indifferent, but you want me to do it and you're telling me that you're trying to force me and control that to me, guess what, I'm not gonna do it anymore. Like, you know, I was very much like that consciously, but the subconscious part of me is like, I'm kind of comfortable with like people having control and power over me, because my parents had control and power over me in childhood. always considered myself like emotionally controlled and like emotionally regulated because I didn't display any like unpleasant emotions. But it was the funniest thing because I would choose to be in like friendships with women who were emotionally unregulated as well. I was emotionally unregulated on the spectrum of like, you're not allowing yourself to feel pain, so you're repressing an emotional side of you. If you're holding something down, it's just gonna come up in a more explosive way. It's like festering, it's like, let me out. The other side of that is like people who feel everything, who emotionally display everything. So I was like, oh my God, I'm so attracted to these people who like share everything and like express their emotions so easily to other people. Like I think that's just such an admirable trait. I also thought like a lot of them were just hyper emotional. Oh, they just don't like have any emotional control, which I mean, was true, but also maybe I had too much. I'm getting in friendships with people who are on the opposite spectrum of me, and they keep not working out. But why am I getting in relationships with these people who are just hyper emotional, like hyper expressive? Oh, because I'm repressed and I'm not expressive. I wasn't doing it consciously. Like I'm not like, oh, I want to appear like I'm this perfect person, so like let me just always repress all my emotions. I didn't know that I was doing this. And that's the thing that's so tricky about the subconscious, because it's like, how can you fix something that you don't even know? Like if someone had come up to me and been like, you not experiencing any like emotional pain is a bad thing because you're not learning any lessons. You don't learn what to do and what not to do, and you just keep making the same mistakes because you're like, I don't feel pain. Nothing can tear me down. I literally felt like that. You not feeling any emotional pain makes you feel like you're invincible, which is bad because guess what? You're actually not, and you can't feel all these things that are hurting you. I would have been like, guess what? You're right. That sounds good, but that's not that great. The situation with my boss at the job that I left was like questionable at best. He was very much like, you're a young adult and I'm established in life. Let me like help you like get to where you're going. Let me teach you how to drive. Let me help you get your driver's license. Let me help you open up a credit card and like get your credit going. Let me help you move all your stuff that's in storage in a town that's like an hour and a half away. All things that at the surface sound good. It was inappropriate because it felt parental. Are you my dad, or like, are you my boss? Like it was like giving that vibe. Why did I allow myself to get in this like situation to where there's like this like dynamic of like control? Oh my God, I totally am giving my autonomy to someone else. I would never allow myself to get emotionally attached to anyone that I thought could emotionally hurt me. I'm in this relationship to where it's like, it's safe for me to express my emotions and I feel safe. But I feel like, did I just seek this out because I knew it was like safe? Is this my person or am I comfortable? The discovery of this kind of led through my existential crisis, because what I did basically was I left my job with no backup plan when I really should have had a backup plan. There's no growth. Like this isn't what I want to do with my career, and also this is an inappropriate relationship, and like this is just me replicating what I learned in my childhood, and I don't want to keep doing that. I don't want to keep feeling stuck, so guess what? I'm gone. I left my relationship. This isn't the kind of relationship that I see myself having like forever. So like I kind of exploded my life. I'm not the person that anyone has ever really heard going through a crisis, because I don't share when I'm going through a crisis. I don't really like discussing things with people that I'm like actively going through. It's very vulnerable, it's raw. It's like, this is how I am in the present current state. Let me tell you how awful this situation was in my life after it's happened, and like after it's over, and like after I've dealt with it, not while I'm currently still in it. I'm still in the middle of the crisis, I should say that, I guess. I'm choosing to take this leap of faith in what I know I'm good at and what I know I've been put on this earth to do, because I know that I will be successful. I don't know when. You really had no idea what you were going to do for rent next month, did you? And you really still sat there and edited those YouTube videos. You can't say I don't take risks. As uncertain as my future is now, I will say that this is the most connected and myself and in tune and free that I've ever felt. So for that feeling alone, I'm so thankful. Shout out to my mentors who inspired me. Heidi Preve, who has a channel here on YouTube, and Gibson from the Personal Development School. They really helped me and gave me the information that I needed with the subconscious fears and the beliefs and the desires and attachment theory together, and that really helped. I hope that this video has helped you to see the errors of your ways. Thank you for coming to the party, and thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Let the bridges light the way!